Just a couple things I wanted to mention about the Country Caboodle Christmas mug rug. First, the pattern I bought did have substitutions. Muslin was used instead of red fabric for the backing. Also, only greens, no reds for the top part of the mug rug. I'm going to work from my own stash to add back a few of the reds. I do realize that substitutions are often made in quilt kits, especially successful ones that are in demand many years. But if you're counting on at least the same fabric colors, you may want to take a quick look at the fabrics included in the kit. I think this kit could have just been a fluke, but this is what was done in my kit. Now, let's get to making the mug rug. Okay, so we're going to sew this middle piece and this bottom piece together with a 1/4 inch seam. So that's our first step. I have my 1/4 inch foot on. If I can find a foot under here. Okay, that's step 1. Then it says for us to take these pieces and press them flat. Okay, so the next step it says to do, once pressed flat, do a blanket stitch over the seam. Okay, let's do it. And we are going to make it go toward the, sorry, let me get my needle lined up. Hopefully it won't not feed. Okay, so I'm just taking my time. I'm running it right down the seam line. Okay, guys. Oh, I really like that. Isn't that pretty? Get my arm out the way. That's kind of pretty, huh? Okay, so that's step 1. I'm going to give that a little press just to make it relax. Now, it says, take the pre-cut applique pieces that you were provided and remove the backing paper from the back of the piece. Snip pieces apart to pre-assemble the applique. Take out the finished drawing of the applique you're using and lay on your ironing surface, okay, with a silicone mat. Okay, so they do it the way I do it. Now, if you do not have a silicone mat, so you can use a piece of parchment paper out of the kitchen, and it will work the same way. So you don't have to feel, oh, I don't have that, so I can't do that, okay? So we're going to take out this little thing. And basically what they want you to do is they want you to assemble this on top of the silicone mat, one piece at a time. If you do that, then what happens is you can pull it up off the mat as you need to. There we go. So that should be all the pieces to assemble the truck. And the reason I chose to do this now is because when we go to do thread paint on our pumpkin, some of these steps will be similar. And so you'll kind of already have a taste for some of it. All right, guys, I'll see y'all in the morning. Okay, guys, so let's talk about doing fusible. So this is a piece of white Teflon. When you lay it on here, you can see through it. So I've pulled the backing on everything but one piece, which is this piece here. The easiest way that I've found to get the backing off is if you take a pin and just lightly drag it across. It will make a score line, and then you can easily remove your backing. Okay? And that makes that easier. So when you look at something like this, what you need to do is evaluate from the back to the front. Now, I'm used to this because I make my own patterns and I don't always number them correctly. These weren't numbered at all. The thing about this is that you can easily adhere it to this Teflon without it becoming permanently stuck to the Teflon. But in the instance of this, it is going to stick. So when you put the you put the snow on the end of this piece of the tree, that snow is going to stick. So let's just go ahead and give that just a little tap so it sticks. Okay? Ooh, that's hot. And then you can just remove it. Okay, and we're going to do that to all the pieces of the snow. I think I'll just move it over and leave them where they sit because they're really hot. Okay, I might have my iron too hot. Let me turn that down a little bit. Okay, so let's just go ahead and adhere the snow to the ends of all of our pieces of tree. And I've got them pretty much lined up, and I think, except for that one, it moved. Sometimes when they're small, they're a little fiddly, but they'll be all right. Okay, so I'm just gonna, well, all I'm gonna do is just tap it to hold, because we're gonna do a permanent in a second. Now we're just gonna let that cool. Just push that to the side. Now we're gonna go back over here. I'll get that off of there. So we're gonna look at the picture. And when I evaluate this picture, I see that the tires are in the background. I don't know if you scoot it that way and down a little bit, you'll be able to maybe see the picture also, hopefully. So to me, the tires will go on first. So I'm just going to put the tire where the tire needs to be and just give it a tap, okay? I'm going to take this one and I'm going to do the same thing. Whenever I trim these, they have little pieces on them, so I'm just going to put that to the inside. Okay, give that just a little tap to hold, okay? Now, the next thing I noticed is that I think the fenders need to go on next. So when I put this fender down, this fender is going to become, well, nope, it's not low enough, so we don't have to worry about that. So let's go ahead and put the fender down just to hold it in place. So as we move things around, we can move things around, okay? And on this side, we're just going to look for the line, kind of line it up there. I didn't do a very good job on that. Okay, so this fender doesn't want to be adhered. Okay, let's just give him a little tap. Okay, so then when I look at the next thing, I think the cab would probably be the next piece, okay? But if you look at it, the tree will go on top of that in the back. So let's just give this cab, just in case I'm wrong about something, just a little tap right at the top, just to hold it there, okay? Any of this stuff right now, every bit of this is removable, okay? Everything else is going to build on top of the tree. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the tree. So I'm going to take this here. Let me just take these. I'm going to move these off to the side for a second just to get them out of the way. so I don't accidentally adhere them to something. I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to build my tree. So when I look at this, the big part goes here, okay? That's what I see. My big part in here. He's a little, there we go. I'm just going to give him a little tap. Then I see that the next part of the tree is going to go from here to here. And look, it might not be exactly the same, but just so it's close. And then, I got to pull these off because I had adhered. And see how they come right off? Okay, now I've readjusted myself. Let me pull this one off too. Okay, there we go. So, realign that. Like that. And now we are going to put this piece here, like that. And then this piece of the tree will go up here on the top, like this. I'm just gonna give it a little set so the whole tree stays together. Now that tree is hot, okay? So I'm gonna turn this back around, realign my truck back up, make sure everything's the way I like it. And I think the tree, might need to go next. So if you just kind of work your way up from the bottom to the top, see, our tree's in a whole piece here, okay? So if we put the tree in next, sorry, I'd have stuck a pin in it, but I didn't want to stick a pin in my Teflon sheet. I think the tree goes like that. And then the tailgate goes here, like this. And there's a dotted line there to help line that tailgate up in place. And then from there, we're gonna have the lower bumper, which is in the black. Or maybe it's supposed to be dark gray, I don't know. And then we have the top railing of the tailgate, and it's gonna go right there, okay? So that's everything kinda in its place. So you can't get it apart once it's touched to itself, okay guys? You can only get it apart when it's only touched to, which means that I can move this down a little bit. I feel like I need to move this down just a hair. I feel like it's not low enough. Maybe when I put it in there, I adjusted it wrong. I'm not sure. Okay, but it wasn't covering enough of that with the tailgate railing. Okay, there she is. Now I'm just going to kind of hold it there. It may not look exactly in place, but it's close enough. Now this is going to be really hot. I'm going to move it off of there. And now you should be able to just peel it. Just be careful if it's got like a little, like these side mirrors or a little delicate. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. So just be careful on not ripping them off. Okay. And there, oops, so that tire did not adhere. I didn't hit that good enough. So we're just gonna put that back in place. Get it all covered up. Make sure if you do have something like that happen, just get it back in place, okay? Before you, I'm gonna go ahead and give it another little touch. And then I am going to realign it because I want to make sure that it's in the right place, and it's not. Hold on, right there. Okay, now, because we want the tires to be lined up underneath the fender. Okay, let me give it just a little bit longer. Usually if you let it cool before you try to lift it, it's a better deal. It still doesn't want to stick. Okay. So, get that all off. Okay, there we go. So there she is as one piece. And we'll take this to our mug rug and we will fix it permanently. So we're going to take this. Oh, not that piece. That's the backing. And this. And what you want to make sure of is that your stabilizer is going to be underneath the place where you will be stitching your applique down, so that it helps strengthen it as you stitch and it doesn't pull on you, okay? That should be more than enough right there. Now, I'm not going to tell you I'm going to. Oh, that's good. Then we're going to want to put the truck in place. Now, whenever you look at the picture, the tires sit right on top of the green. That's where they sit, just like that, okay? And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's just scooch it to this side just a hair. I mean a hair. Okay, that should be good. We want to make sure everything's just where we want it. Now it's time to adhere it. I usually go about the count of 13. I'm not really sure because it doesn't tell me what the applique fusing instructions are. I'm just going by what I've done in the past. So if it's not quite adhered to, then you can, oh, well, that's not good. That stabilizer was melting under there. Okay, so I'm not going to use that stabilizer. Don't do that. You got that white kind. I'll go get some stabilizer from my embroidery to stabilize mine with. If you want to, I'll tell you something else you can use for a stabilizer is a piece of paper. A good heavy piece of paper will work well. Okay, so I just got some of my tearaway stabilizer. It's really thin, like really thin. So I doubled the layers. It was the easiest thing for me to reach. I've got everything pinned to it. The thread is still blocked from yesterday. So what I did yesterday, before I turned off my sewing machine, I wrote my settings 3.0 and 2.5 down so I would know what I had sewn this, so I could continue that. Now, I realized in looking at this that it might be a little big. So I think, wait, I didn't choose the right. Sorry for the noise you're hearing. We've got a lot of wind here today. Mode 022. That's my stitch. So 2.5 and maybe 2.0. Let's just try that again and just see what this one looks like. So see, that's a lot smaller. And I think going around the truck parts, that's probably going to be a better stitch than this bigger one. But when we go to start putting the, let me write this one down. When we go to start putting the other layers at the top, well, you go switch back to the bigger one. So I've got this at 2.0, well, 2.5 and 2.0. And I'll just keep that the whole time I'm working on a project so that I can remember in case something happens, I have to get up, lights go out, I don't know, things happen. Run out of time. All right, so what we're going to do here is we are going to just line up our needle right in the corner where the tire comes out of the bumper. And then we're just going to take it very, very slow. Now, I'm going to need to turn it just a hair because the tire turned. Always make sure that needle is in. Count your stitches. Like this stitch is 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, now I can turn. It's kind of a slow process. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing. But always try to make sure that your needle is down before you adjust your stitch. Because if you don't, what'll happen is it will jump out of spot. Okay, now we can straighten it back out. Just a minute, I'm gonna have to get up because my dog, I left the door open so that he could enjoy the cool air, and he has taken himself for a little walk. Okay, now. And there we go. So you can't hardly even see those stitches because we did them in black thread. But there you go. So we're going to do the other tire just like that. And then from there, I'm going to jump up to the red around here and just keep going. All right, so that's the tires done. So I'm going to get the thread changed, work on this, and I'll probably come back when I work on some of the green. Okay, so what I did was I did the same buttonhole or whatever you call it here, and along the outsides of the fender wells. These little mirrors sticking out here, mirror bars, whatever they are, I just did the bead stitch. It's like a hand quilting stitch. It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, and it kind of looks like a hand stitch. I mean, a quilting stitch. That's what I used there. So, as you can see, it ain't perfect, but I'm happy with it. It didn't bother me. Like I said, I don't do things for competitions and merit and all that stuff. I do things because I enjoy it. So I think the next thing we need to do is take care of the green on the Christmas tree. And then from there, we'll do the white on the Christmas tree. So we're just going to start here at the top, right on the tippy top of the Christmas tree. And we're just going to try to run that straight stitch part down. Let me see if I like that. Oh, that's cute. Okay. So let me pull these threads from where I went from one to the other. I did tie it off, but I just pulled it. I didn't know. There we go. Oh, gotta get the top. You know, it'd be cute to find a little yellow button and sew it on there. Okay, so there's that. You know, too, it would be kind of cute to do some of those. Let's just do that. Why not? Take some of this and just do a little random branch. See how that just kind of adds a little to it by doing that? Now your sewing machine may not have these stitches, and if it doesn't, it don't matter. Don't worry about it. And if it does, if you want to use them, use them. And if it doesn't, you could do this by hand. I don't know the stitch, but I'm sure there's somebody out there that knows it, and I'm sure that there is a book or something somewhere that's going to tell how to do it. All right, guys, so that's just something kind of fun there. We got the snow next. It is a lot of twisting and turning. So we're going to do a 1.9 and a 0.85. 1.9 wide, 0.85 width. We're just going to go all the way around each little piece of the snow. I guess we'll start at the bottom. That lined up pretty good. I mean, it ain't perfect, but that looks pretty good. Okay, so that's everything that's red. Getting close, guys. And then we'll just finish it on up here. Did my thread break? Nope. Okay. Nope. We're fine. Okay, it's the next day, and I've had time to think about this. The way they say to put this pattern together absolutely makes no sense to me. It says to turn the top of the block under 1/4 inch, iron in place, because it's a fusible
I don't know what that is. Fusible, what do they call it? Foam? Fusible foam? Fusible foam, okay. And then it says, basically what it wants you to do is to fold this under a 1/4 inch and fuse it, everything to this foam except for the 1/4 inch. And then it wants you to slide this under a 1/4 inch and sew it. And then that just makes no sense to me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sew all these stripes on. I opted not to do the one with this one that I had cut out. I don't like that one, so I ain't doing that one. I'm gonna sew these 3 pieces on here together, okay guys? And then what we're gonna do, because this is Be Yourself Quilting, so we're gonna be ourselves. And I'm going to press them good and flat like we did this one back here. By the way, I removed as much tear away as I could last night. And iron it flat, and then I'm going to put a decorative stitch just like I did here where each join is. Once I do that, then we will cut this the same size as the backing. Or, you know, it said to cut it this size, but the truth of the matter is if it's a little bigger, I've got more backing, so I'm not going to worry about it. Because it wanted you to line all this up. Well, you can't line all that up when you can't see through it. Okay, the other thing is this. I wish I would have thought through better, but I wish I wouldn't have put the truck on there yet. I wish I would have made the whole background, quilted the background, and then applied the applique on top of the quilting and quilted and appliqued it down. But that's not what the instructions said, and so I was following the instructions. So from here, what we're going to do is we are going to sew this green, and then the red, and then this green, and then we'll determine how big we need to cut it. I don't want it bigger than this piece. We will then cut a new piece of backing that is big enough to cover the whole back of the foam so I can see the backing sticking out. We will fuse it all down. We will do a little quilting, and then we will trim it, and we'll be ready to put the binding around it. Hopefully it's enough binding. I'll test that before I even bother, and if it's not, we'll just cut new binding. I've got plenty bright green colors. So, okay guys, so I just wanted to let you know where we're standing with this. And I know that their way probably makes sense to most everybody, but I just could not conceive. Sorry, I don't think my needle's right. Of how it, what it was saying to do. It didn't make any sense to me to have to fold down a 1/4 inch when I can just sew with a 1/4 inch seam and it'd be the same amount. And then I don't have to worry about, did I press my line straight? All right, let's do this. So right sides together. Okay, so first thing we are going to do is sew a 1/4 inch here, seam, attaching this piece to that piece. All right, guys, let's get this done. Just a straight stitch. I'm not going to worry about pressing that yet. Next, we're going to add the red piece to the green piece. Well, no, we might have to press it because it won't lay down. Okay. Just a light press. Okay, now we're going to put this red piece across there. And that's why I like the fact that we can always be ourselves, because sometimes some people's instructions don't make any sense to us, including the instructions I may right, might not make sense to you. But if you know how to do it your way, then do it your way. Okay, quick press. All right, and one more piece. This is a pretty piece here. And I think this is going to be long enough. I mean, it's a mug rug. I don't think I'm going to use it for a mug rug after all this. I think I'm going to use it for a little wall hanging, maybe in my bathroom or something. Okay, one more quick press, guys. Okay, so here we have it. It is, I have no idea how big it is. Let me grab a ruler. Okay, here we go. She is almost 12 and a half. I mean, right at 12 and a half. So probably by the time I press it good flat, she'll be 12 and a half. By 7 and a half. Okay, so how big is this piece here? That came with it is 11 inches, plenty wide enough. So this needs to be cut down to at least 11 inches. Okay, so I ironed it flat and I ironed it to the fusible foam. So on the back, I used the same red stars as I used up here. I cut the backing bigger than the foam because you're gonna have some shrinkage with this, using this foam. So what I'm gonna do now is I am going to put on a straight stitch and I am going to sew through here, and just to sew it down to give it some basic form, and then I'll come back and use a decorative stitch. Everything's ironed in place. Now the next thing I want to do is switch to a decorative stitch. I still have my piece of test, and I'm going to go to a 3.0. Oh, nope, that's not the right one. Clear. 022. Yeah. So 3.0 and 2.5. And so since we made this row face up, I'm going to make this row face down. And so to do that, I got to fold it in this direction. Okay. I had to think about that, guys. Sorry. Thinking this stitch, this foot right here will work just fine. Yep. And now I'm just going to go really slow. Back to the truck. In the pattern, they shows they just did an echo stitch around the truck. So let's just try that. Now, in order to do an echo stitch, what we're going to need to do is switch to, I guess it's adorning foot. You're going to need Can't pick up my, here, all those are open. Let's go with this one. This one's kind of small. This one. No, let's go with this one. So what we're going to use is a foot that, sorry, in this machine you got to take off the screw to get that on there. I'm going to use this foot. This foot is going to give me an edge to run along the edge of the truck. Okay, and then when I get up here, I'm going to need to turn it so that it'll be the equal distance on this side. Okay, see how I did that? It might be easier said than done. Not sure about that, but I haven't done an echo stitch in quite some time. But let's do it because I think that's my best option. Is just like they had the echo stitch for me to use the echo stitch. Make sure your little clicker bar is on top of your needle up down, the little bar on your. Also on this, make sure it's good and tight. I'm going to take that thread and I'm going to get it down up in, we're going to go needle up, needle down on our thread. Hopefully it won't show. So I want to start right here. I don't drop my feed dogs. I know a lot of people do. I don't. I use those feed dogs to help me feed this around. Take a couple stitches in place. Okay, guys, it kind of looks like a gnome. So we just kind of went around it. Now we could continue to do that another 1 or 2 times. It's making me a little nervous because I don't want to mess it up. They only showed it once in there, so I think I'm going to leave it just like that. It's not the best stitching because I'm not very good at that, especially without a stitch regulator. So the next step is to take this over to the cutting mat and cut it down to a uniform size for all of it. And then I will go ahead and press the binding. Make sure it's enough. Let's make sure this is going to be enough. Let's see. That's selvage. We can't use that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it should be enough. Just enough. So I'm going to go trim all this up, get my binding ready. All right, guys, I finished it. I finished it on the sewing machine with just a straight stitch. Let's see if I can get it to focus around the edge. Now, this is why I have a problem with finishing it on the sewing machine. I know this is probably dumb. Okay. But you see the back, how nothing really looks even, and then you got the flap and all that. I don't like that. I don't like that. But being this was a mug rug, and it's probably going to hang on the wall in the bathroom, I did it. And it was quick to finish because I wanted to get this done. I think it's really cute. I love it. I'm happy I got it. And I would buy another one of their kits, but I probably wouldn't put it together the way that they said to put it together. I would put all my top together like a little quilt. Then I would quilt it. Then I would applique my applique on top of that. And then I'd finish it. Okay, guys, so that's that. I am probably going to go look for a button to put right there. And this is just thread. So get that out of there. And I may look for something to sew on the tailgates. If I do those couple of things, I'll give you a snapshot at the end. Okay, so just remember, guys, always be yourself. You saw that with this. Some mistakes were made on my part because I didn't do it the way I normally do it. All right, till next time, our next project together will be the thread painted pumpkin. Okay, guys, so it's all finished. I have it up on my design wall. I added a little poinsettia button for the tree topper. And I put a snowflake on the bumper. It wasn't a button, it was some kind of doodad thing, so I glued it on. So just give y'all just a little up close picture. I got pins holding it up there because it's too heavy to just stick to the wall. Well, I thank y'all for joining me.